Hi, I'm Jack Howell. This video is for my nephew Robbie, who just got a clarinet and is learning to play, but it's also for anybody who's learning to play. So if you just got a clarinet, by all means, follow along. You'll just have to get used to me calling you Robbie. It's great to be a beginner. You have a chance to learn stuff right the first time and not have to unlearn and relearn it in 5 or 10 years. There are things about playing the clarinet that are hard to learn right away because they happen inside your mouth, and it's hard to feel and impossible to see what is happening. But one thing you can do right from the start is have a perfect hand position. This is possible because you can see your hands. It's going to take some time and some attention because your hands are not used to having a clarinet in them, and not every beginner has the patience to do what I'm going to show you. Lots of kids just want to play, so they learn notes one fingering at a time, and they let the rest of their fingers run wild in between fingerings. I don't want to stop kids from being kids, but let's look into the future. Present Robbie is learning notes. Future Robbie isn't going to play notes. He's going to play a combination of notes called phrases. Notes in music are like letters of the alphabet. Future Robbie is going to combine notes into musical words and musical sentences and paragraphs and stories. And it's going to be amazing to know this language, and it's going to be lots of fun. And it's going to be about 500% easier if you don't have to unlearn a bunch of bad habits that happen when beginners don't know how to put their hands on the instrument properly. So, you have 10 fingers. Every finger has a home on the clarinet. If present Robbie learns where each finger's home is now, future Robbie isn't going to have to think about it. So, let's start with the fingers that cover holes. These fingers eventually will become easy because they mostly stay at home, unlike the pinkies that have to roam around a bit. But they're also hard at first, because if they don't close the hole properly, the note will either not speak or will squeak. And it can be frustrating because when you aren't used to closing the holes, sometimes you can't feel when you're not closing them completely, and it'll seem like the clarinet is squeaking for no reason. So here's the deal with the fingers that close holes. We must use the fleshy pad of the fingers to seal the hole. So when I press really hard, see how you can see a circle? That's where you want your fingers to touch the holes. Now, that's kind of a cruel joke because the typical beginning clarinetist is 10 or 12 years old, has small hands and skinny fingers. So, you know, it's harder for you than it is for me. But that makes it even more important that you have your fingers right on the holes. So such fleshy pad on your fingers as you have must be centered on the tone holes. So let's start with the left hand. In playing clarinet, we want always to build our technique around what the body wants to do naturally. So we want our hand position to be natural, not all twisted up or cramped. The first fingers we're going to place on the clarinet are the pointer finger and the thumb. And we're going to start by picking up a pencil, like this. Now, we could do that with the clarinet, except the clarinet's too heavy to do that right now. What we want to see is how the pointer finger and how the thumb naturally meet, how they naturally oppose each other. So you see how your index finger is curved? See how your thumb crosses at an angle, so it kind of makes an X? That's exactly how we want it to be on the clarinet. So we take that feeling and we transfer it exactly to the clarinet so that the pad of your thumb covers this hole on the back, which oddly enough is called the thumb hole. And the pad of your pointer finger covers the top hole on the front, which is called the F-sharp hole. Okay, if we get those two fingers right, the rest pretty much falls into place. If your pointer finger is curved, which it should be, the other fingers will curve also. Your middle finger will cover the middle tone hole, and your ring finger will cover the bottom tone hole, the one with no ring. Your pinky will fall right over the left hand keys. For now, let's say that home for this pinky is the top lever key, which is, we call that the left hand E, B key. So every finger has a home, your fingers are curved, that's perfect. Now let's look at the right hand. Remember the trick with the pencil? Where you hold it like that. Okay? We want to do exactly the same thing and transfer that shape to the clarinet. Now your thumb's going to be down just a little bit, but it's close enough we can use that analogy. Okay? The thumb rest should go right here on the last joint of your thumb, which will put your curved pointer finger right on top of the tone hole, because that's how your fingers oppose. Now here's where a lot of beginners run into trouble. The entire weight of the clarinet, when you play, it's stabilized by your embouchure, but the whole weight of the clarinet rests on your right thumb. That's not a problem if you're big, but if you're a kid, the clarinet can seem really heavy and hard to support out there on the end of your thumb. And the temptation is either to crowd it closer to your palm so that it rests here where it doesn't feel as heavy, or use some other fingers to help. I've seen pinkies that get hooked under here. I've seen pointer fingers get hooked under here. And once you have that habit, it's really hard to break. So if the clarinet is too heavy for you, just for now, hold the bell in between your legs to support the weight. And that will do until I can get you a neck strap. If you're Robbie, I mean. If you're not Robbie, you'll have to get your own neck strap. But it's important that you do. A little attention now will save you lots of difficulty later. The rest of the right hand position is just like the left hand. If you get the thumb and pointer fingers correct, the other fingers will follow. Same curve, fingers fall right on the middle of the hole. Now for the right pinky, let's make this key right here on the bottom, let's make that home. We're going to call that the F, C key. So the left pinky is at home on the E, B key. The right pinky is at home on the F, C key. All right, let's check the hand position. All your fingers should be curved, and if you look down the clarinet, both of your hands should be open. Should be like you're looking through binoculars. So now that you've got a perfect hand position, here's a game I'd like you to play every time you pick up the clarinet. It'll just take a minute, but it's time well spent. Now, we're going to blow, we're going to learn notes. You're probably already doing that in band, but if you play this game every day, you're going to get ahead of everybody else. So put your metronome on 60. Okay, if you don't have a metronome, we need to fix that. But let's say you have a metronome and you just put it on 60. Put all of your fingers in the home position. They should all be curved, right in time with the metronome. Take one finger at a time, leave the rest of your fingers down, and move that finger up and down. Right in time with the metronome. Up, down, up, down. Keep each finger curved. Move only at the big knuckle. Go up, down, up, down, up, down. Keeping your other fingers in position keeps your hand position good. It keeps you from moving the rest of your fingers around as you get used to moving each finger. Now the first few days may be a little difficult, so I'm not going to tell you how many. Just move each finger up and down until it feels natural. Down. As soon as that happens, use this rhythm. Go up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and immediately go to the next finger. And if you hear your finger make a little popping noise, that's just fine. So you can play around with the order of fingers if you want. You can start bottom up, go up the clarinet, or you can start at the top and go down. Don't forget your thumb. Just make sure that each finger gets used every day, right? So here's the game again. Up, down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, down. Good. And your thumb, you want it to go straight back toward you and straight back to the clarinet, keeping it that angle where it crosses. You can see that circle on my thumb where it pushed on the hole. All right. Now, I know I said we would play notes this lesson and we didn't, but don't you worry. You're going to play lots and lots of notes. And it's going to be way easier if you get this part right. So, back soon, Robbie. Go get 'em.